He specializes in renewable integration, energy optimization, and sustainability, contributing to ESG, AI, and net zero strategies. So thank you so much, Bhavesh ji, for joining us today. Sir, के लिए एक और बार please जोरदार तालियां हो जाए. Can we give it up for sir, please? The next person who will be joining us on the panel is Mr. Surajkant Tiwari, Assistant General Manager, Sustainability, Gujarat Fluorochemicals Limited. He leads environmental stewardship and corporate responsibility initiatives, sharing insights on sustainable practices at industry forums. Thank you so much, sir, for being on the stage with us. Thank you so much. Next, to join us on the panel, we have with us Dr. Arun Singh Mehta, founder of the Science Ashram. He is the Managing Director of Gujarat Life Sciences Private Limited. He is also an environmentalist dedicated to sustainable agriculture and ecological advocacy. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the panel. And the final person to help us complete the panel for this discussion is Mr. Santosh H. Tiwari, Chief Accountant, Vadodara Municipal Corporation. So can we have you joining us, please? He is an expert in municipal finance, ESG, and climate financing. He also played a key role in VMC's pioneering municipal green bonds and has been instrumental in strategic financial planning and sustainable infrastructure. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will now request the panel to please take it ahead from here.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to all of you. A very good afternoon to all of you. I know a post-lunch session is difficult to pull in, but I can promise you on behalf of all us panelists, we'll keep it very interactive and you will have valuable takeaways when you leave from here. Okay, I'll start with my brief introduction. I'm Dr. Seema Nilani. I'm currently working as a technical manager and handling environmental design solutions, EIA, green buildings, little bit of ESG and carbon credit. Why we are here today is, again, how ESG can be integrated with CSR. If I want to give my thoughts to this, if we look to the first act, what we can think of is, can anybody tell me the first act in terms of safety or environment, if anybody over here knows? The first act that comes to your mind, or any act that comes to your mind, you know, related to environment, safety, any compliance.
Factories Act 1948.
Yes, Factories Act 1948. After that, any act which you remember. The Air Act, Water Act, the Blanket Act, EPA Act, the CSR, and now we are at ESG. So maybe till date we have seen and heard of tons of environmental acts and their compliances, yes or no? And the basic system, be it industries, corporates, consultants like us, the NGOs, employees, all of us are running just to comply or fulfill that system, yes or no? Okay. Now, how do we integrate ESG or sustainability together with CSR? So that is the basic theme of this session. Hope our panelists and our discussion will give you some valuable insights into this. I'll request all the panelists to give a brief introduction about themselves and an open question. What I posed is, how do we integrate CSR and ESG so that beyond the conventional models, what can corporates do? We start with Dr. Bhavesh Vyas.
Yeah, is it audible? Yeah. Very good afternoon to all. Before introducing myself, I want to ask you, किस-किसके आप normal हो गए? So it is what a great positive energy you all are doing. So myself, Dr. Bhavesh Vyas, I am from Gurgaon, presently working at Gurgaon. But linking my bio with Gujarat itself, so I was born in Gujarat, in Eider, Gujarat. It's nearby, and from my local hometown is at Dungarpur, Rajasthan. And I studied at Jaipur, and after that I am presently working at Gurgaon. So I work in academics as well as industry also. In academics, I was annoyed कि कोई problem नहीं है, कोई problem statements नहीं है, solutions निकालेगा तो किसका निकाले, तो मैं खुद problem खड़ी कर लेता था, बच्चों को projects दे देता था, research works share करता था. Even heading as a dean at PhD students, like I did many PhD students. Even one project I have carried at my university is carbon footprinting, identifying per person per capita of per person of कार्बन फुटप्रिंटिंग ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटीज। मैंने मतलब क्लास से बच्चों को भगा दिया था कि जब तक व्हीकल्स का एमिशन काउंट नहीं करके आएंगे, डाटाबेस नहीं लेकर के आएंगे, मतलब ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा माय फोकस इज ऑन डाटा। द बेटर द डाटा, द better your results will be. Let us take relevancy with Vadodara. Recent urban flooding, the rainy season we have seen. Even the newspapers are showing crocodiles on TV. Crocodiles are coming and what a great water is there here. So that's why how planning or urban designing and all these things can be carried out based upon data. If we are taking time in data, we are taking time in preparing, and we are taking time. Data relevancy is always there. So whenever we still have the technology like AI we are talking about. So when AI is sandwiched with your data and it is sandwiched with your SDG goals and all the sustainability, then there comes a toasting word that is net zero. The extended version of your Viksit Bharat Abhiyan, that is 2047, and India's net zero target is 2070. So that is what we all are presently working, and I am working at Normal Research Foundation, and there we work related to order, mitigation and management. In simple words, we can say कि बदबू का what is बदबू in real world we can say, because when our offices at Gurgaon, they are closely packed, made up of glasses sheets. So what problem is there कि अगर थोड़ा सा mismanagement होता है तो स्मोकिंग की मतलब किसी भी तरीके की माइनर से ऑर्डर we are easily capable to detect either it is of another office or either it is of our own office. So that's why temperature and many things got inter and correlated. So that's why order mitigation and management in future. These things will be air, water. These will be very crucial to study. So huge database is required in terms of ESG and in terms of every sector. Then it will be blended with AI, and only then better net zero solutions will be.
Over to Arjun sir. Sir, give your brief introduction and also throw light on how can NGOs go beyond their conventional models to integrate ESG and CSR.
First of all, Bhavesh, you will be happy to know that we just finished a project where we have mapped the entire city of Baroda from 1897 till date. And it's a complete mapping of where the roads, water bodies were, what has happened after the societies and all have come. And I can't stress enough to say that this kind of data is going to be very, very essential in the future planning, especially flood mitigation. Good afternoon, my name is Arjun Singh Mehta. And my introduction also embeds, Dr. Seema, your answer to your question. I come from a very rare breed of NGO turning corporate. You normally find companies who eventually go into a CSR kind of a mindset. But we started as an NGO called the Science Ashram. We registered that in early 90s, and the whole idea was basically to connect fundamental research done in the universities to the field. And while we were at it, we realized that the best way to serve was to get into a corporate kind of a structure. Today we see all the NGOs also looking at or stressing more on impact assessment and impact management, and fortunately we could do the same. So Science Ashram collaborated with the government of Gujarat and the Gujarat Agriculture University, and a very unique model of government, university and industry came up in the form of the company called Gujarat Life Sciences. We are in the space of agricultural and environmental biotechnology. The mindset and the philosophy is still very NGO-ish. Just to give you a simple example, we just completed 25 years, but the cost of our first product developed 25 years back is still the same. So I think this combination of a corporate understanding or realizing the importance of ESG, especially on the CSR front, which automatically reflects in the governance. I think it's the ideal way to go, and this is the shift that one sees all over the world. Simple example like the Gates Foundation that we have been closely associated with works in an extremely corporate way. Even if most of the work is philanthropy oriented, they take value of every single dollar that you spend. I think this becomes very important for every NGO to understand that it is not just about donations or contributions, but it is also about assessing the impact. That's where ESG is very, very pure.
Thank you, Arjun sir. My one more question now before we go to Suraj sir is with the audience. Are you aware about what actually is ESG? Anybody who can answer me that for me? CSR, all of you know. Yes, Arjun sir.
Social and governance.
Yes, but how do you define what is in terms of environment, what is social, what is governance, and what is the relevance? Why do we club them together?
Two prizes for two questions.
Hello.
2 coffees, sir. Since we share the coffee club, I can offer you 2 coffees, sir.
Okay.
Because for prize, I have to go to Nishant or somebody.
Nishant has already lost weight for today, so he's not giving any more prizes. Is the sustainability, retaining our resources, whatever resources we have, how do we use the resources judiciously, whether we reuse, recycle, or reduce, so that the resources last for longer. And in the same process, as we using resources, can we ensure that we cause minimum damage to all the elements, including air, water, and earth. So in case we can ensure that, then we'll be sustaining environment for perpetuity. That is number one. Why we club it with social and governance is because social essentially means inclusivity. In case we are offering the resources that God has given us to everyone equally, there is a certain sense of equity. That is where the social comes in. And governance is being ethical, being righteous, being transparent in whatever we do, so that we combine all these three to achieve a sense of righteousness and sense of equity for everyone.
Yes, good attempt. Anybody else who wants to say anything?
प्राइज दिया कि नहीं?
कॉफी बोला मैंने आपको, हम जब मिलेंगे कॉफी में ऑफर करूंगी सर, बाय पे।
So basically what I understand from the concept of ESG is how a business govern its practices, its business practices essentially, at the same time how they are using the resources that are available from the environment, at the same time how they are also, while conducting their business, how socially responsible they are, whether they are taking care of their employees, their customers, their community partners, their investors. So all the stakeholders which are involved, how we are able to make a good balance for them. At the same time, when we talk about governance, it is about how the overall governance, whether they have the policy framework in place, whether they have anti-corruption law, anti-bribery law, and there are some other 17 to 20 policies which are there, whether they are doing their business ethically. That is what ESG.
What's your name?
My name
Very
is
nice.
Haley. My name is Haley.
Very nicely attempted. I'll put up my definition for you. From school, we have learned 2 types of components, living and non-living. Okay, so when I say environment, all the non-living components that are affected, air, water, noise, soil, everything above the earth, below the earth. So we are talking about all the factors we have affected. Now coming to the social, all the stakeholders which Haley put up very nicely. Okay, anywhere on this earth, the stakeholders which are being affected. But the most important or the controlling factor over here is governance. In our case, we call it God. Now we have to govern because we have spoiled it. Okay, so that is how the integration comes in. The living components, non-living components, and how we govern it, and that is how we are integrating. Now I request Mr. Suraj to introduce himself and take up the opening question. How can the companies go beyond the conventional CSR models to address the issue of ESG or sustainability?
I'm Suraj Kamani. I am heading sustainability at Gujarat Private Companies. So recently I have joined Gujarat Private Companies 1 month back. So today I have completed 1 month in here. Prior to that I was in Tata Chemicals. I was looking after sustainability there also. So we from morning we are discussing about CSR. So I am also one of the beneficiaries of the CSR. I will tell you how. I have completed my graduation from Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh, and Tata Chemicals. They went to campus recruitment to Itanagar as part of their diversity initiative because they want to take somebody from disadvantaged location also. So I am actually the beneficiary. Now coming to the question, the approach of the CSR, current CSR, before going to that, we need to understand the history of the CSR. So, if you see, before 91, before this Narasimha Rao government, the situation was different, and before 2014, before the Companies Act, it was different, and now we are in a different stage. So, prior to 1991, there was Inspector Raj. So, private companies, they don't actually, they were burdened with the taxes. They don't have the money, and the CEO and business houses, they used to say that we don't have money to spend on. The whole burden was on the public sector units, but they had no expertise, so they failed. Some of the business houses, since the pre-independence era, they were working with the CSR, like Tata's and Birla's. So I'll quote one quote from JRD Tata. He said, what comes from society must go back to society many times over. Right? So that is a fundamental of this philosophy of the business houses. And after 1991, when liberalization happened, so many industries, they started doing good in business. Tax were reduced, compliances, burden were reduced. So they started spending on this CSR. And now this regulatory framework of 2014, now companies are spending more, and now there is a push from all the stakeholders like NGOs, policymakers, government, customers, investors. So this is the trend now, right?
Thank you, Mr. Suraj. Before Mr. Santosh proceeds with his introduction, I have a brief insight about him. Actually, I am a big fan of Mr. Santosh. I have heard him a couple of times. My mindset before I met him was, like me, many of you would be thinking our urban local authorities are not doing enough. All the broken roads and everything is to be blamed on them. But after I have heard him, I really take pride in saying that Vadodara Municipal Corporation is the first in Asia to have its green bonds and sustainability bonds. All credits to him. So he has put us on a global map. And I really take pride that we are Vadodarians and we are making our country and city proud. So with this, I would like Santosh sir to give his introduction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, all. Barodians. So, I am also a Barodian. Although I was born in UP, but I am the product of MS University. And I am in Vadodara Municipal Corporation since 2000. Handling finance department, which is equivalent to CFO. I am a chief accountant, but CFO since last 15 years. So I have presented almost 14 years budget for Vadodara Municipal Corporation, where we started the budget from 2000 crore, and recently in this February, we have presented the plan of 6,200 crore. So it is all because of the public. Barodians are good, have good heart, willingness to pay the taxes also. So, so due to taxes, although believe me, taxes is not what we get, only 600 crore from taxes, whereas we spend 4,000 to 5,000 crore every year. So other funds we do get from the grants, state government grants, central government grants. We also borrow the money from this. One short question to all. Generally, what you people know about corporation? क्या है corporation आप लोगों के लिए? Municipal corporation, नगर पालिका, महानगर पालिका, municipality सुना होगा. आप लोगों की लाइफ में वो किस तरह से असर करता है? Can anybody एक ही दो जन बहुत शॉर्ट में?
नगर पालिका या म्यूनसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन जो है वो हमारी जो बेसिक नीड्स है, डेली नीड्स है, जैसे वाटर सप्लाई है, सैनिटेशन है, उसके बाद हमारा हेल्थ है, तो एजुकेशन है, बेसिक एजुकेशन से ये जो नीड्स है वो सप्लाई करने का और उसको प्रोवाइड करने का काम करती है।
थैंक यू। ये सही है, लेकिन अगर मैं शॉर्ट में डिस्क्राइब करूं तो रोज आप अर्बन लोकल बॉडी महानगर पालिका नगर पालिका की सर्विसेज आप लोग रोज लेते हो। शायद स्टेट और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की रोज नहीं लेते होगे, लेकिन जिस दिन आप पैदा होते हो बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट हम देते हैं। ज्यादा बात नहीं करते, जब किसी की शादी होती है तो मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट भी हम देते हैं। और जिस दिन हम इस दुनिया से विदा लेते हैं, डेथ सर्टिफिकेट इज ऑल्सो इशूड बाय अर्बन लोकल बॉडी, अर्बन लोकल म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन। इसको नगर भी बोला जाता था, नल गटर और रास्ता, इसलिए नगर। लेकिन जब तक ये नल गटर रास्ता था तब तक हमें एडिशनल फंडिंग्स की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती थी। अब हम अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग भी बनाते हैं, अब हम फ्लाईओवर्स भी बनाते हैं, अब हम स्मार्ट सिटीज का कंट्रोल एंड कमांड सेंटर भी है हमारे पास, हम मार्केट्स बनाते हैं, शॉपिंग कॉम्प्लेक्सेस बनाते हैं, स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्स बनाते हैं। दैट्स व्हाई वी नीड एडिशनल फंडिंग्स एंड ऑल दिस थिंग। रिगार्डिंग दिस द बॉन्ड व्हिच सोनिया जी said, सो हमने ग्रीन फर्स्ट बॉन्ड हमारा मार्च 2022 में आया था 100 करोड़ का, और वो इंडिया का हाईएस्ट सब्सक्राइब म्युनिसिपल बॉन्ड था। लोगों के बॉन्ड 2-3 गुना सब्सक्राइब होते हैं। वी गॉट 10 टाइम्स ओवर सब्सक्रिप्शन एंड लोएस्ट एवर कूपन रेट 7.15%। यू वुड बी सरप्राइज्ड टू नो दैट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का एक सोवरेन ग्रीन बॉन्ड आया था, वो 7.29 में आया था। रिसेंटली इन March 24 वी लॉन्च्ड Asia's first certified green bond. We are the first city in Asia to draft a green finance framework, and where we are committing our commitment towards environment. How these projects would be improving the environment quality and all these things. We have came up with the documentation. We have taken the certification of Climate Bond Initiative, which is an UK-based organization. So not only we have mobilized, but what impact would be there, that also we would be reporting to the SEBI. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was really good information. Now I'll begin with the question. The first question goes to Bhavesh Vyas, sir. How do you think the carbon credits play a role in green CSR, and can the corporates use it for leveraging money and reducing their carbon footprint?
Yes, ma'am. Related to carbon credits. So whenever we talk about ESG and net zero, two terms come, that is green credit and carbon credit. So from the morning and even in our discussions we have heard that we are doing afforestation and we are doing any such kind of activities that is curbing or that is offsetting your carbon footprinting, carbon emissions of your environment. So those things can be converted as a carbon credit, and if it is a green type of activity, means like afforestation, like biodegradable type of items you are making, so those comes under your green credit part. Will India have completely framed out the structure बन चुका है पूरा, and within a span of 2 to 3 months India is going to start its CCTS system. Okay, that is carbon credit trading system. It will be one of the biggest in the Asia for the upcoming time, because they are right now preparing many methodologies. Yesterday also we are discussing at dinner when will be the time will be there when our such activities can be contribute to the carbon emission, that we are reducing carbon emission in our environment, in our home or in our city level. Okay, whatever contribution we are doing, we must keep trying on. We must try to keep innovation as well as introduce. So such kind of innovation activities will definitely pay, because the Indian government system, they are preparing the methodologies, and all those methodologies are being taken as a reference from CDM. So like for referencing, you can check out the UNFCCC website. It is Clean Development Mechanism. It is a worldwide voluntarily offset mechanism where you can find a CDM booklet. In that CDM booklet, you can check out all the afforestation kind of activities, what procedures they look, what basic calculations they do for calculating your carbon emission levels, and such things when precisely ruled out on document basis, then easily it can be basically traded in the form of carbon credit.
Thank you, Dr. Bhavesh. To put it in a simpler version, very soon we'll have a carbon market where it will be traded like shares. So now when it comes to money, all of us can think of investing in it, right, sir?
Sure.
So next question goes to Dr. Arjun. Arjun sir, the question is, what are some successful green CSR initiatives that you think can lead to long-term environmental benefits?
There are a large number actually all over the world when you see right from renewable energy to greening and all of that. But I can think of a few which are very local. Also citing an example of something abroad. But three great projects have been initiated in the last few years. First of all, has been the concept or the idea of FPOs, the Farmer Production Organizations. I think this is a game changer in agriculture, in e-commerce, in CSR overall. Every large company who has something to do with environment or ecology has gone in for this. I mean, for the lack of time, I won't go into detail, but I will leave.
I think that is also being closely associated to water credits and carbon credits. What sir said.
Yes, absolutely. Everything is integrated. So FPO is like a complete package. So right from the benefits to the farmer, rejuvenating the soil, to the e-commerce, everything is connected. So I think that is one fantastic initiative. Second is on the revival and rejuvenation of the rivers and the water bodies. A lot of organizations again have taken a tremendous lead in that, and this is going to change the face of what's happening in the country. There is a lot of support from government, but unfortunately less happening at the execution level. But I think companies and NGOs have taken this up. So in the coming years, including for our own Vishwamukhi, we would see big change coming in. Third and the most important and very interesting concept is how the CSR is getting into a corporate kind of a structure when it comes to the green. Miyawaki forest and urban forest is one concept, but two major areas where you can see is, and these are the live examples, that stopping the desertification. I think it's a huge project. I'm not sure if everybody is aware of it, but a whole green wall is getting built from Jodhpur to the Himalayas. And that is nothing to do with the border management, but it is more to do with the salinating, integration, stopping, and stopping the desertification. I think this is going to be fantastic. While government is in the forefront, there are a lot of private companies who are getting involved in this. A lot of NGOs will be at the implementation stage. And on the same lines, big revolution coming in the coastal areas. We are just with one of the largest coastal lines. And the whole concept of salinity integration is one thing, but using the saline water for agriculture through halophytes, which are the plants that grow in salty water or brackish water, and tremendous technology interventions through genetic engineering where you can actually grow your regular fruits and trees using seawater. I think this again is going to be a game changer. Just to cite a quick example, recently an NGO called the Nature Conservatory, they got a conglomerate of companies all over the world, and they actually purchased close to 260,000 acres of Amazon forest. They said, let's not go into petitions, let's not go into activism, let's just buy it. They've bought the place and it's a green heaven now. So one, they've ensured that the lungs are going to remain as they are. Tourism has increased, agriculture has flourished around that area, and it has become a superb example. Now on the same lines, there are paper industries who we see as one of the biggest polluters. But nappy paper in South Africa, for example, does about 700,000 hectares of plantation every year. Earlier they used to do just pine, so it was monoculture, but now they have gone into biodiversity also. So, it's not that corporate is only damaging things, but they are also looking at the incentives for themselves, and in that race, they end up doing a greater good for the green economy.
Thank you, Ajahn sir, for that insights. My next question is to Mr. Santosh. Sir, how do you think that green bonds, what VMCA has issued, can help financing for CSR activities?
I think this green bond and CSR, I think these are contradictory. It's not because both are the options for mobilizing the fund actually. So CSR is actually the funds which corporate company spends towards the betterment of the society, and The bond is basically an amount which we are borrowing from the market to fund our capital requirements. So both are ultimately meant for capital expenditure.
But can the companies use it as a tool have extra funding for their CSR?
These corporate companies, these corporates can, although corporates have big market, corporate bond market is more bigger market. Even municipal bond market is below 1%, 0.0. It is in 0.023%, whereas corporate bond market is used. Yes, many corporates are using green bond also. They are taking the certification. When I said in Asia, so as a municipal corporation, we were the first. But there are government of India has taken, various PSUs has taken. So as in corporation, so that can be done. But it is ultimately what their company's profile or company's SOP is that where they can spend. But what I think as a CSR, if in view of a corporation, so CSR can be generally for this primary education, Anganwadis, health sector, etc.
Sir, just for my insight or give a brief difference to the audience. When I say bond and green bond, I know they should know what is the difference. When I say a normal bond and a green bond, so that they'll have most of their answer.
So bond is basically, see there are one option, I want 100 crore, I can go to the bank, fill a form, they would be giving the money to me next day. When I go for the bonds, when I want a loan, bank would be lending easily. When I go for bond, first of all I have to refine myself, I have to upgrade myself, I have to be more accountable. So first of all I have to update my balance sheets. When we had decided that we would be going for the bonds, my balance sheets were 5 years behind. In 2019, I was having a balance sheet of 2014-15 because we do not work on balance sheet, we work on our budgets. Budget is our main document. Balance sheets we were preparing for reforms purpose. We need credit rating, and for bonds we need credit rating, and for credit rating we need balance sheets and up to date. So in the span of 6 months, we had finalized 6 years balance sheet. In March 22, when we came up in the bond, our latest balance sheet was published. And we got the award also from the Institute of Chartered Accountant, and Vadodara is the only urban local body in India to receive award from Chartered Accountant Institute for its annual report. We were lagging behind, and now we got the award. Again, when we are going for the bond, we are being more accountable. That if I default, my credit rating will be degraded. If my income reduces below 70%, my collection ratios goes below 70%, then also rating is. This is for the bonds. It makes more accountable to us, towards public also. And what is the difference between the green bond? Generally, corporation, urban local bodies, any project, all are green enough, whether it is road, whether it is footpath, whether it is garden, water or sewerage. But green bond is a special commitment where we declare ourselves that what would be the environmental impact. It is not declaration, but third party also would be auditing it, and the same would be published into the SEBI also and to the investors also. So outcome of the project, how the funds has been used there only, whatever we say, what is the outcome, that compliance is there. That's why a special tag bond is known as green bond.
Yeah, just to add to sir, when my intent is very clear that my money will be used for environmental sector, it is a green bond. Okay, and we have to, at the end of the completion of project, a third party will give assurance to that. Thank you sir for your answer. My next question is to Mr. Suraj Katewari. What trends according to you will define the future of sustainability driven CSR?
So basically, the future trends will be like this. There will be more focus on the environment responsibility. If you are talking about environment, then the operations, particularly operations of the corporations, the business houses. So they have to cut down their emissions, meet the net zero target, whatever they have placed. Some industries have placed to the net zero commitment. Some still they are working on that, but whatever they are doing, they have to align their business strategy with the sustainability strategy. So that is one thing. In product stewardship, they have to produce the product which is environment friendly. Or hazardous substances and all those which can degrade the environment. So they have to stop those things, and that is the current trend. And also in the water stewardship, if you see the WRI, World Resource Institute, that aquatic tool, if you use, you'll see that whole of India is a water scarce area. It's all over red, if you run those tool. So focus will be on water stewardship. Not only industry saving the water, but also in the community, helping the community to build a rainwater harvest structure, storage of water, building ponds, lakes, restoration of the other water structures. So that is going to be focus. Another focus area will be transparency in the disclosure. Many houses they claim the data that they have, this much beneficiary, this much project, but what about the transparency? There is a term nowadays going on, greenwashing. So greenwashing is, a term which means somebody claiming, environment friendly practices, but ultimately they are not doing that kind of thing. And this term was originated in America when, a environmentalist, he went to a hotel, and in hotel they used to put a tag that we don't wash our linen daily, and if you want, like this kind of stuff. So when he inquired, he did his research, then he found out that the hotel were not doing this for environment. They were saving money on laundry bills. So this concept, greenwashing. So still in India we see many, organizations, companies, they are doing greenwashing. They are claiming what they are actually not. So there will be focus on the greenwashing also. So transparency. Accountability is one part. The promoter and the director, board of director, they have to take accountability of their, the organization's activities. Accountability, even all the employees, they have to take accountability of the sustainability in their organization. And the last one, the focus area will be technology. So technology, the organizations also are using the technology for CSR, sustainability, like softwares for capturing the data, beneficiaries, everything. The use of AI, satellite imaging, this kind of use of drone in agriculture, technology in animal husbandry, those things will be, so technology is a part. And overall, the CSR is going to be, corporate social responsibility will become corporate social integration. So integration of all stakeholders. So this is going to be the future trend.
Thank you, Mr. Surat. I'll request all the panelists to be short and request for the second answer, because I would like to have audience some time for the discussion. So my next question is to Dr. Arjun. Dr. Arjun, as we all know, currently India is leading in terms of innovations and entrepreneurship, but very few of our innovations actually see the commercial market. So what do you think, which innovations in terms of waste management, water conservation or climate action will go hand in hand with CSR?
Something in the lines of what Suraj just mentioned over here. Innovation and technology is going to play a substantial role. For the lack of time, I'll just quickly cite out 3 technologies that we are working on and are at the verge of getting implemented. So one is on the waste management, and this is the technology that we have developed along with the Agriculture University. This is for the in situ biocomposting of the waste. The crop residue burning that you see all over Punjab and Haryana and now spreading to UP and all. Microbial and enzyme-based technology has been developed now, where you spray the microbial cultures on the field and they get degraded there, so there is no longer the need of burning. But added to this, there is rejuvenation of the soil microflora increases, and carbon credit is now attached to that. So the farmer is set to earn 3x or 4x of the price that he would normally spend to work. So that is one technological intervention that is coming. Second is a very interesting one. It's an international mandate which has been given, and that is to reduce the methane gases. Now, why India is in the spotlight or the hot seat is because over 45% of the methane gases are generated by the animal gases after they eat and from the paddy fields. And there is a mandate from international mandate to reduce this by 5%. We have just started a Government of India program on developing microcultures that will help to reduce this methane by at least 5 to 8%. So this is going to be very, very significant. NDDB is already on board to evaluate it, and maybe in 3 years' time we will see that this will be part of all the animal feed. Third and the most important, which is very relevant to Barodians, especially with regards to Vishwamitri, is the project or the concept called BioShield. BioShield is a very organized way of plantation along with soil and land rejuvenation, where you help to stop landslides, desertification, salinity and all of that. For the Vishwamitri River, through a project called the Bhava Vishwamitri Abhiyan, which is in the forefront of demanding a holistic revival and rejuvenation of the river, along with flood mitigation. This project can be very easily implemented over here, and you will be glad to know that it can also help to save the 1,200 crores. But anyway, that's a bit of a political thing, so I won't dwell too much into this. But technology-wise, there is tremendous work that is happening, especially on the environment front or the biological front. There is loads of fundamental research which is just sitting there to be applied to, put to application. So this is where CSR and corporates can combine together and bring about significant impact.
Thank you, Dr. Arjun. I want a very big round of applause over there. It is because of researchers and scholars like you we can think, yes, we will be on a global map, even in terms of innovations and technology. The day is not far. Thank you, sir. My next question is to Dr. Bhavesh Vyas. All of us have heard of number of frameworks for ESG. Yes or no? Are you aware? GRI, SASB, SBTI, ECFP. So this is a tough one for sir. Which framework do you think is the best one for quantifying sustainability or ESG?
Before understanding about framework, just one scene come in my mind, like in Three Idiots. What definition we want to choose? A tougher one or a simple one? So similarly, when we are talking about framework, it again goes to initial beginning of your Paris Agreement. We talk about ESG. Like initially your Paris Agreement signed, then Kyoto Protocol. After that your Hope series have been started, and after that various geopolitical issues have been raised. Every nation is saying that this is the standard, this is the standard. And even from last 5 to 10 years, one topic have been announced like national determined commitment. Every country is committing like we are reducing some kind of emission up to certain limit, up to 2030, up to 2040. Every country is committing based upon the commitments they have been carried in the Paris Agreement or Kyoto Protocol and all these things, right? So based upon those, to achieve those commitments, every country can't impose the compliance that you have to do, and you only have to do. कंपनी वाला बोलेगा मैं कंपनी चलाऊं या कंप्लायंस देखूं या सस्टेनेबिलिटी पे, बिकॉज ही इज फोकस कि एक कंपनी चलाने के लिए यू नीड सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ विजन फॉर प्रेजेंट डे एज वेल एज फॉर 5 years later also 10 years later,
That what will be future will be. So that's why.
So similarly, when it comes about framework, many things are coming. For example, to fulfill this NDC, the government like SEBI have started committing like they have instructed 1,000 top cap companies. They are having 70% market cap ratio, approximately more than 70,000 crore market cap they are having. To streamline their upstream and downstream. For example, a simple concept. अपने घर में कितने लोग रहते हैं? How much water they are using, how much food they are eating, how much resources we are utilizing, how much space we are covering, how much liquid waste discharge we are releasing, how much electricity we are consuming. So these are all general resources of our home. Similarly, these things need to be kept in data set in terms of any industry. अगर मारुति सुजुकी के शोरूम में, so they must be recorded कि how much total discharge they are having, how much total emission they are having, and how all these things have been calculated and equally put in the database formats, because those database will work as a base in the upcoming time. So in parallel with that framework, one CBAM point is also coming from 2026. Europe is going to charge carbon leakage prices to all the other countries. He is saying कि अगर मैं अपनी कंपनी से कार्बन टैक्स ले सकता हूँ, तो जो कंट्रीज मुझे अपना प्रोडक्ट बेच रही है मैं उनसे भी लूँगा. Like carbon intensive products like आपके स्टील हो गए, एल्यूमिनियम हो गए, and all those products we are providing to Europe. They are leveraging taxes and we have to pay for those taxes. So for bridging those kind of things, the government is putting forward this carbon trading mechanism in support of Europe, so that only some trade agreements, some guidelines can be abridged between both the countries to save that tax part in the coming time period. Similarly, two last things I want to say. First is the life cycle assessment part. This is also coming very good opportunity for all the NGOs and consultants. You can be an LC analysis body. And second thing is circular economy. Even in terms of circular economy, again we have two definitions. One tougher one, like 3 Idiot, and one simple one. The best example is the use of torn jeans at our houses. But if we talk about circular economy, we can go to Europe. That it comes into Europe and certain work, certain targets have been analyzed, and after that it has been came. It is a framework. It has certain definitions. And in terms of Indian language, if we see, एक फटे हुए जीन्स को हम पहले पहनते हैं, फिर स्टिचिंग काट के उसकी कैपरी बनाते हैं, फिर उसको सिंपल घर के हाउस होल्ड वर्क्स में काम में लेते हैं, और जब लास्ट चीज़ बच जाती है तो वो पोछा बन जाती है, और उसके बाद भी बच जाती है तो गाड़ी साफ करने काम आती है, जो गुड़गांव जैसे एरिया में या तो कभी इसकी बाइक से गायब हो जाएगी या किसी और की बाइक से भी गायब हो सकती है. सो दैट इज द बेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी. यूज, रीयूज, recycle, repair. So more than 7+ items are there in this re category. So it is all ultimately how to use कि भाई सब चीज कहीं ना कहीं absorb हो जाए in your system. So that is the best thing we Indians have been gifted with. So circular economy is already in between among us. So similarly, if you talk about framework, we have to go for BRSR. That is having far very stringent, not very stringent, but it is having far more better questionable comparing to all other international standards. We can take references from GRI, we can take references from certain climate financial disclosures, but not to be confused because we are not too much ready. For becoming ready, we need data. So it's the time to better channelize, to improvise our data. Because I am so much focusing on data because before working on this industrial part, I have become a drone pilot also. I work on drone data also, and presently since last 6 months I am taking a professional certification with IIT Roorkee or related to your AI/ML and like all that ma'am had told, like data labeling and all those things. So all these things is in our mind. So that's why I am precisely saying the more precise our data is, जितना अच्छा डाटा होगा उतना अच्छे अपने रिजल्ट्स होंगे, and the far better we can go, prediction we can go. So okay, so that's all.
Thank you, Dr. Bhavesh. My next question is from Mr. Santosh. Santosh sir is from finance background, but I have been most of the time discussing green bonds, water credits, carbon credits, BRSR. So he is very well versed as an environmentalist, I should say. So sir, the next question is, what one shift you think that the business needs to do so that they can make their green CSR impactful?
First of all, from my side, awareness and our own commitment. See, in these workshops, we keep on talking various many things regarding this, what others should do, what we are doing. While last month I was in Delhi, and while driving from Delhi to Vadodara, I came up with the one dhaba, before Bhilwara, 30 kilometers before, Chaupal dhaba. There was, fan also was not there. In Rajasthan, around 12, I was feeling cold in that dhaba. It was designed through this rocks, पत्थर से बना हुआ था. वेस्ट, सारे वेस्ट मटेरियल को यूज किया हुआ था, और आप लोग बिलीव नहीं करोगे, गर्मी लग ही नहीं रही थी। आज बड़ौदा की बात करें तो 22 लाख का पॉपुलेशन है, एंड वी हैव व्हीकल रजिस्टर्ड 24 lakhs। एसी पहले एक होता था घर में, आज सबके कमरे, अब तो लोगों को ड्राइंग रूम में भी एसी चाहिए, हर घर के व्यक्ति को कार चाहिए। सी वी आर बीइंग ब्लेम्ड दैट अर्बन ट्रांसपोर्ट नहीं है इतना अच्छा, सही बात है, इट इज, बट व्हाट अबाउट वेयर गुड अर्बन ट्रांसपोर्ट इज देयर, देयर आल्सो द सेम प्रॉब्लम। सो व्हाट आई थिंक, आवर अवेयरनेस, it includes me also, you also, our awareness towards environment.
Thank you, Dr. Sandesh. The last question with me is for Mr. Suraj. What, according to you, are the biggest drivers that can push business towards sustainability? Is it policy, investor demand, or customer expectations?
I will be very quick this time. So, according to me, all three are the driving factors. Please talk about policy. अगर ये कंपनी साइड नहीं होता तो how many of us will be here today? नहीं, ये fact है, and because of this only maximum companies are doing the CSR. So policy is a big factor. We talk about an investor, because I have been attending many investor calls for my company, previous company also. अभी क्या है, shift आया है investors में, they are also hiring sustainability expert in their team, and they are asking very good questions. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम कुछ भी बोल दें उनको और वो, so they ask good question and their expectation is very various disclosures, ratings, so they go through our ratings, different platforms, CDP, DGSI, whatever, so they go through all our ratings, so उनका expectation भी जाता है, and they clearly communicate their expectation to the companies, so their push is there from the investor side also. Regarding the customers are nowadays, I joined recently JFL, so daily I am getting one questionnaire, ESG questionnaire from the customers to fill, various sustainability related data. So this is the level, daily one on average, from Europe to Indian companies. Some of the customers, they are ready to pay the premium also for the green products. I'll talk about an example of Tata Steel. So the green steel, they are talking about the green steel, which is made of the hydrogen is used for blast furnace. So the carbon intensity of the green steel is less. So customers are ready to pay the premium also. Even in my previous company, Hindustan Unilever, they were buying soda ash from us. So they were asking, if we can make soda ash from separately renewable source, so that they can pay premium to us also. So that focus is there from the customer side also. And another society also, they have some expectations from the companies, even the employees. See, if somebody wants to switch the job, they will prefer a company with better sustainability rating or better brand image, right? So that expectation is also there. So all these things are driving now the sustainability across our ecosystem.
Thank you, Mr. Suraj. Before we open the house for audience to ask their questions, I have one last question for the audience. I have worked closely with Dr. Bhavesh. He is actually engineer by profession, but he's very good at his Excel calculations and accounts, so he's actually into carbon accounting. And as I said, Mr. Santosh Tiwari, he is into finance, but he is working as an environmentalist, so that is the power of ESG, we can say. So now my question to the audience is, do you feel ESG would be one more compliance for the corporates to submit to the regulatory body, or it will help us reduce our environmental footprint as a country?
It depends upon policy. Very, very, very long.
Yes. Please give them mic.
So I have a very interesting interpretation of the question that you have. During last Diwali, we were thinking that a lot of carbon we are emitting from, because of the firecrackers. And being part of the ESG team, we put blood, sweat, tears, everything into our ESG reporting and everything else. So we were just deliberating on our family level that the city is emitting so much carbon, we are putting lot of efforts, but we are a smaller part. So corporate is a part of ecosystem. It is not the entire ecosystem when we speak about. So talking about your answer is it is a dilemma. Yes, it takes lot of investment in terms of time, money, and energy for the ESG compliance, but it is also a good platform to reduce the carbon emissions. And one such initiative. So I am basically from an IT company, and what we are trying to do is we try to make innovative aspect to ESG, because it is not a very interesting domain to work in for a lot of people. So like Deepika ma'am has told that lot of employees are focused. So as part of our employee volunteering program, we have integrated sustainability into our EVP initiative. So we have recently celebrated Ignite Fashion Week, wherein we have celebrated slow fashion, sustainability, everything, so that everybody could be part of that. Second is because we are an IT company, lot of e-waste is generated. So the laptop which are not useful for our own entity because of the programs being outdated, we give that to the community. So recently we gave around 125 plus laptop, which benefited 2700 plus students in their digital learning tool. So we can integrate innovative aspect which is beyond the compliance, beyond the regulation, so that we can do.
Okay, thank you. Robin sir was saying something. Robin sir.
I was saying that ये तब हो पाएगा जब कॉम्प्लायंसेस पॉलिसी लेवल पे आगे जाएंगे हमारे पास, क्योंकि तब तक उसके बिना ये सब इंडिविजुअल विल पावर के ऊपर है। कोई कंपनी करना चाहेगी, कोई कंपनी नहीं करना चाहेगी, कोई इंडिविजुअल करना चाहेगा, कोई नहीं करना चाहेगा। जब तक ये पॉलिसी लेवल पे इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं होता तब तक हम लोग शायद इसको आगे नहीं चलते। जैसे हमारे जेटू पीछे से बोल रहे थे कि इट विल टेक ए लॉन्ग रन।
Thank you, Robin.
Okay.
Arun sir, no extra coffee for this answer, because this already many people have answered. So we will take your suggestion.
Just listen to my answer, maybe you will give me a coffee.
Then maybe me and Sonki will share the bill.
I'm giving you a very simple example. Okay, you're talking about whether ESG becoming compliance or sustainable practices. Progressive organizations, we will see this as enhancing productivity. I'll give you a very simple example. If you follow ESG practices, whenever a fuel burns completely, not only the efficiency is better, emissions is lower. Okay, if you use coal as against that if you use LPG, CNG or hydrogen, it burns more completely, so you are more productive as well as you are compliant as far as ESG is concerned. Okay, very simple. So let's see, mature organization will see this as a positive investment. That is number one. Number two, since I have the mic, let me take advantage of that. I just wanted to add to Adit's point about this BioShield. BioShield is currently also used for noise reduction close to the airports, around the airports, around railway stations, around manufacturing units which create a lot of noise. So they absorb noise also, besides absorbing carbon dioxide. Okay, that is another. Third is, I wanted to ask you a very interesting question. Okay, so the main theme that we're talking of is how do we
Yeah, so you got it right.
Okay, so my question is, we want to club the CSR and ESG part. Okay, right now we are happily coexisting as independent entities. For instance, we have sustainable practices, ESG network, all those practices are there, they stand alone. CSR, and you cannot book those expenditure under CSR. Okay, in case we propose to do that. Now what happens is, if you're doing something for the employees, like you would know, if you're doing something for the employees, they are booked under welfare, not under CSR, if you're doing it for your own employees. But if you do something for the communities, then you can book it under CSR. Similarly, if you're doing some ESG practices, which not only benefit your company, if you're doing it for your company, then it will be booked under the project cost, right? But if you're doing it for the society, like he suggested, the green shield and all, which benefits others, then can you do some kind of advocacy with Government of India to include those as part of their CSR spend? Even if that 2% has to go up to 5%.
Okay.
Coffee देनी
Thank you.
पड़ेगी.
Now the house is open for the audience. They can come up with their questions.
I have one.
Yeah, so I heard sir saying उसमें ACG बोल दिया था. So corporates के लिए और business industries और MSME के लिए सर वो ACG ऐसा ही है. I think there's too much of pressure of compliance without seeing, considering not seeing, without considering the ability of MSMEs and medium-scale industries. Are they able enough to reach the desired target? Even CSR is so much difficult task. Of course, companies like Arch helps us to make it more easier and they take the load. But not everybody has this ability to manage this. So as Tiwari sir was mentioning that customers give you preferences when you have you produce green products. It doesn't happen in domestic businesses. Export, yes, or large multinational, yes. So can there be a standard like an ISO? I have an ISO 14000. Right? Can there be a standard? I get the standard done, and whoever asks for ESG, I can show them standard, and it's done and dusted. That will make life easier. I think if you can create a standard around that, a smaller standard for MSME, I think it makes things easier for us.
Yeah, so I'll answer your question in two parts. One is what Robin sir and Subramani were discussing in the morning. How will MSMEs and SMEs take the branch of ESG? The answer there lies hand-holding and drafting. I have started a long time of my career. I was with university. And we being B School University, Palo University and all, we were adopted we were even training in everything by IITs and NITs, they hand-holded us. So here is where our top shots of big corporates come into picture and they hand-hold because you are their vendors or suppliers, so they have to hand-hold you and take you to the ESG. So that is where the answer lies. And as far as the ISO you are talking about, there is already a guideline out which is known as IWA 100, I'll share with you, which is on the same lines. It is still not out as an ISO, but it is a similar guideline for ESG in our country. So I'll share the document with you.
Can I add to that? Okay, I would like to put it a little more simpler. SMEs have a fantastic advantage of not, being compelled to follow the compliances. But I'll give you a very interesting example of what happened. I was trying to remember the name, but I'm not getting it. One of the co-founders of WWF, World Wildlife Fund, left WWF, and he started an organization called Cut More Trees. He said there are no incentives for me to save the forest, right? So if you look at close by Adivasis in our areas and all, they preserve the forest because they're getting something out of it. Why does anybody want to save a tree? Incentivize it. Of course, save the lungs, save the tropical forest, save the heritage trees and all of that. But encourage agroforestry. Make it part of it. You don't even have to call it CSR anymore. Get more wood furnitures, get more wood into commercial space. You'll automatically get more forest. So I think it's more about smart planning, and MSCs and all of that have a great advantage.